What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Reseller Greatness Podcast. We have so far the record. You have the record of third appearance. So you are in the lead right now.
Nice.
Record of third appearance. I think Isaiah has two. I think Hanley has two. Brett has two. But right now, you are the world record holder. Gold medal. Wear it with pride and wear
Yeah.
it proud. We have Carrie. A lot of you guys know Carrie. A lot of you guys watch the channel from Carrie's channel. And I'm sure a lot of Carrie's viewers watch the channel from my channel. So our channels are kind of symbiotic. We both carry a lot of the same messages, which I appreciate Carrie for, because you've been around in the group for a while. A lot of the things that we talk about, you have taken into your business off to the races, and you have built a beautiful business. And you've implemented a lot of stuff on your own as well into your business, and you run a tremendous business. You guys do a great job over there. I always love talking to you, and we always have great conversations because I think we kind of think alike when it comes to the reselling thing. We are a little bit analytical. We want to pick up items that have a good sell through, good profit. We stick to the metrics. Sticking to the metrics is very important. Not a lot of people
Yes.
stick to the metrics, and you do a good job of sticking to the metrics. So what's going on? It's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. What's new in
Yeah.
Carrie's world? What has changed? Anything changed? Anything new?
Since the last time we talked, I became pregnant. So,
Okay.
yeah, I announced it a couple of weeks ago on my channel, just as like a little post. And then I took a break. I think naturally that happens because you're so sick and you don't want to do any work. So, just the thought of sitting in front of a camera made me want to die. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go incognito a little bit and people will find out why later. And I announced it a couple weeks ago, but I'm back with the YouTube channel and everything. So it's all good. We're rocking and rolling.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to you guys on the addition. I'm sure it's going to be a fun time. Having kids is a fun, fun, fun time.
Yeah.
Um, my son is 21. He's grown. He's bigger than me now. And, it happened so fast. Like a blink of an eye, like he was knee high. And then
Mhm.
today, he's this much taller than me. So, like, it just goes by so, so quickly. And I think life in general just goes by so quickly because every single time where I start a video, I kind of give like the pedigree of my experience on eBay. And I say, I've been doing this for 15 years. Like it's almost 20 years at this point. And it's a
Wow.
blink of an eye of how fast life goes. And, life is crazy, man. You think you got it all figured out, and then they give you the curveball. So
Yep. I
other
got
than
the
that,
curveball.
you got the curveball, and you just gotta sit back on the pitch, and you just gotta wait for it, and you just gotta hit it. So how's everything else going besides that? How's business? How's the YouTube
Yeah.
machine? What's up?
So for our business, we primarily sell the jeans and pants, but I also started up a series where I was wanting to dive into shirts and tops and
Oh,
jackets
the dark
and
side.
the dark side. Yeah,
Okay.
the other half of the world. I have been, I took that break. I took a break from the shirt store and YouTube, and my whole focus was just getting our listings up every day and then I could go back and lay down. So we kept eBay afloat this summer, which is fine because it naturally slows down for us as jean sellers anyway. So like it was okay. It was like
Mhm.
probably like perfect timing. But anyway, it's been going good. I'm back in the shirts business, listing consistently every day, 10 a day, and that store is popping off. Really enjoying that. It's been real fun, honestly, learning the jackets and shirts that sell really fast and for good money. And then the jeans are starting to pick back up because we're in Q3, we're at fall time, back to
Mhm.
school started. And so we're definitely seeing a push there. We're already up 25% since the summer,
Nice.
and we're outsourcing more. So everything is on the up and up and looking bigger and better.
Very good. So I have a couple of questions. Now that you've been doing shirts, jackets, sweaters for a couple of months, do you like it? What is the difference between that and a full-time primary pants seller? Like, is this something where you were like, oh, this works too, or like, I still prefer the pants?
The I would say it's equal to the pants right now. If anything, I might be a little biased because it's new and it's more exciting.
A little favoritism going on. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Um, but honestly, digging through, I feel like we're walking away with better like banger items, like the ones that
Sure.
have more profit than the jeans. I don't, again, I'm not an expert in the shirts yet, but I just feel like it's coming along a lot faster and a lot easier finding like the $20 plus profit items for shirts and jackets versus the jeans. But I also started out my whole reselling career in jeans with like zero knowledge. So
Right.
it was like an uphill battle with the jeans. And now I have all this knowledge that I'm applying to the shirts. I feel like it maybe is making it faster and it just seems like it's better.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to merge the stores because right now I have it separate only for data reasons, not any other reason. I just wanted to see what my average profit margin was for the shirts and what was actually selling because those numbers can skew our jeans numbers, and that's why I wanted to keep it separate. But I can't wait to merge it and then just up our listings, now listing shirts and pants. It's a great world of both, honestly.
Sure. And you could already see, I guess the tops supplementing the pants in the slower season of the summer where the tops
Yeah.
will come in. You can already see that.
I
Like,
can already see it. Yeah, especially with like the golf polos and
yeah.
just
Oh
like
yeah.
other just regular shirts and everything. The jackets we did, like the heavy jackets, we didn't sell much during the summer, but obviously we'll sell more during the winter with
Coming.
that. But it's been real good. I just can't believe I honestly went that long without looking at the shirts and stuff. So,
So,
but
as a primarily jean seller, or as you were a primarily jean seller, we've laughed a little bit and we got a lot of comments on this of the route of the thrift store. Has the route of the thrift store changed now that you are enlightened
yes.
of the tops and the jackets and the sweaters, or is it still the same?
No, yeah, it has changed. We have also noticed that since fall has come around, our stores are pushing out more jackets and coats and stuff.
Mhm.
So now we have like two full racks to look through of just jackets for both men and women's.
Nice.
Because before it was just like this much. And so now we don't hit that first, but we do still hit the jeans first. And then we go over to the jackets.
So it's just a matter of time, guys. Wait
Yeah.
until episode 4, and Carrie's going to say we hit the jackets first. So
Yeah.
you are in the St. Louis area. When does the weather start to turn?
Well, right now it's okay. I don't know if it's just a Midwest thing, but you kind of have like different seasons where like you have like fake fall where it's
Oh,
like cool
fake
for a
fall.
little, yeah. And then you have like second summer where it's like 100 degrees. And then it's back to fall and then it's winter and then summer and everything like that. So I don't know exactly when the start of a season changes for us because it's wild over here. But we have noticed lower temps hitting in September. But we're still up in the 80s some days, so it's still hot. So anyway,
I like
yeah.
fake fall and second summer. That's good. I like those. Is that
Yeah,
like your thing or is that a thing in the
I think
area?
it's
Like
a Midwest thing. Yeah.
people say second summer, fake
Yeah.
fall. Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay. And I get this question a lot, and I have trouble with this one. What do you do when it starts snowing? Is that something you're preparing for now? How does that work for people that have to deal with that? Because I've never had to deal with that.
Please. I'm so sorry. You talk like somebody who hasn't had to drive in snow. Oh, I froze. Sorry.
I've never even seen snow before, not even one time. I've never seen it.
Wow.
So like
Okay.
as a reseller, maybe you go to the flea market, you go to the garage sales, you go to the thrift stores. What are you doing? Do you like squirrel stuff away for the winter time? How does that whole thing go? Or do you just brave it and go out there?
You just brave it to go out there.
Okay.
Get full coverage car insurance and good tires, and you're
Okay.
good.
And then you just still hit the because the
Yeah.
flea markets and the garage sales are closed, right?
Oh, yeah. The garage sales stop probably, I would say October is whenever they stop,
Okay.
like maybe towards the end of October. Um, and they don't start back up until probably around March
Okay.
to April, I would say. But yeah, so in the flea market in my area, it's only one time a week. It's on a
Okay.
Sunday morning. They're all year round. And
Oh, they're
yeah,
out there getting it in?
yeah, not
Oh,
all of them. Because yeah, it's just kind of funny watching your culture of the flea market and like their hustle mentality and then like the Midwestern mentality with the flea market, at least in my area. Everybody, the flea market opens up at 7 a.m. and the vendors are there unpacking at like 6:30 a.m. So like they're
Okay.
only there a little early. I got there way early before because you say like the good stuff is there whenever you're real there like early.
Yeah, early,
Um,
early, yeah.
I found out that there was only maybe like two vendors there whenever I
Okay.
showed up, and
Okay.
everybody else like mingled in and everything. But yeah, it slows down. So basically, you're stuck with the bins and the thrift stores during the winter, and then you just have to brave the elements during the winter. Fortunately, we don't get, it's not like Wyoming or anything where you get
Okay.
tons of snow, but you do get snow and sleet and ice, but we just got to know how to drive it.
Okay, yeah. All
Got
right.
it.
It's even a little bit strange down here. So like where I live, you got to get out there 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But like if you go an hour, 2 or 3 hours north, it's much of a slower lifestyle. Those flea
Hmm.
markets don't open up until 9 or 10. So like you roll there
Wow.
at 10 o'clock and like they're just getting there and unloading the car. So like for me, as I'm like traveling around, I'm ready to get out there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So like I show up at 6 and like no one's there till 10. And
I
like they're just
know.
moseying on in and just setting up their tables nice and slow. So I just go get breakfast and come back. But I have figured out a way to figure out. Maybe I'll show you and show the group later. I have figured out a way to find out what time everyone gets there. So I'll show
Oh,
you guys. I figured out a way. So
okay. Yeah.
I'll show the group in a couple of days next time it comes up, whenever it comes up. But that has been really, really useful. So all right, so business is going good. That's great to hear. You're
Mhm.
having a good year. You're thinking about maybe adding a couple more stores to the route. I know you were talking about that a couple of days ago.
Yeah. So now that the summer slowdown has stopped for us and it's starting to pick back up, um, basically during the summer we hunker down like you would in winter, where you just
Okay.
yeah, that's our summer, that's our winter. Um,
Okay.
we didn't really hit retail stores during the summer just because like our sales went down like 60% over the summer, just with natural summer slowdown and obviously being jeans sellers. So we didn't have a lot of cash flow coming in. So we
Mhm.
couldn't go out and just spend a lot of money on inventory. So, and we had bills to pay. And also I was dying for a moment, trying to survive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? We're just going to chill this summer and just coast, and we'll just start reinforcing the thrift items and everything, the higher profit items, whenever it starts picking up. And it's been working. And we're doing it a little bit early. We're trying to jumpstart it because, again, like our sales are only up 25% since the summer. So we're still not up at full capacity yet, but we have already mapped out our location, and I have broken it up into like 5, 6 different quadrants. And then I have
Mhm.
one that goes like kind of up because we maxed out our area. So there's a little bit of driving for that other one. And I streamlined that route, and I gave it to Kyle and I said, you're going to become the road warrior and you're going to hit all these thrift stores all day long and just bring home the good stuff, because I said, I'm ready to get our profit margin back up. I'm ready to crush it. Like, I'm ready to
Nice.
do this stuff. And he's on board. Like, he's like, yes, we're going to do this. So
Nice.
I think the motivation of having a third child coming along and needing to get an upgrade on the car is like a big motivator for us to just make this big push.
Mhm.
And it's been working out really well so far. So, yeah.
So you're right. So a third kid means a third row in the car, huh?
Yes. Yep.
That's third
And
row.
yeah, and we only have one. We've been a one vehicle family for so
Mm.
long because we
Mm.
don't need a second car because we
And you guys
literally do
homeschool and
everything.
stuff. So yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely.
So, but now it's like, okay, well, now we need the second car and we need an upgraded car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's just a lot of shifting that we have to do
Sure.
in like the next 5, 6 months.
So how did you, because you started the business first, and then you and Kyle, you guys had another business. How did you get Kyle up to speed so quickly on having the eye for the items where you can set him up on a 30 thrift store route and say, go get him, and you know he's going to go out there and go get the stuff?
Yeah, Kyle and I are really similar in our thoughts. I think I'm just, I'm a little bit more of the nerd and the geek, and he just memorizes it. I don't know how
Okay.
he does it. I
Yeah.
just sat down and talked with him. I said, "Oh, like I'm here looking at the sell-through rate of our own store on certain styles and brands, and I'm like, oh, it seems like this is going down." And I'm like analyzing it, and I'm relaying the information to him, and he's like, "Okay, I got it. Anything else?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"How do you just know
I'm
this
more
stuff?"
that way. I'm more
Yeah.
that way. I like a lot of people like study the solds. I just like scroll the solds and it's all right here. And I go, okay, I got to get this, got
Yeah.
to leave that. So yeah, everybody is different. And some people, it takes, a little bit more time, a little bit more scrolling around. And some people like Kyle, you just tell him and he goes, okay, no problem.
But yeah, I feel like I used to have good memory like that. And then I think having kids, I'm like, my brain got fried or something because I'm like, I have to like double and triple check my stuff. I'm like, I feel like this is something we don't pick up anymore. Let me just check it real quick. So, but honestly, I would rather do the extra work just to triple check that I
Hmm.
shouldn't pick this up versus picking it up and making a
Yeah,
mistake. Because
absolutely.
again, you were talking about in the beginning, like my metrics, like I'm so live or die by the metrics. Like if it does not equal, do not pick it up. Like you're not going to
Absolutely.
magically make it equal and fit into your equation.
Hmm. And you make a lot of videos. You have a channel. You're out there, and you talk a lot about your business. And I think that the things that we talk about, I think a lot of it gets lost in translation, and that might be one of them. Where like sticking to the metrics, and the metrics is a little bit of a sliding scale because if it's going to sell much faster, then maybe we can take a smaller margin. If it's going to sell for a lot of money, then maybe we'll accept it sitting around a little bit longer. But like so my message has been the same for years, almost 10 years on the YouTube machine. And, I keep trying to get creative and find different ways to explain the same message. And it just goes back to, gaining an education, becoming an expert, being consistent, be disciplined with the metrics, like all of that stuff there. And, I think that when if you do all of it, it works. If you
Mhm.
pick and choose what you want to do, then it doesn't work as good. So, like,
Mhm.
this is, in my opinion, this is kind of like an all or nothing thing. It can't be, well, I want to do this piece, but not the other piece, this piece and not the other piece, and then expect the same kind of results that maybe you
Yeah.
see other people getting. So, like, you are very transparent. You run a very nice business. You are seeing fantastic results as this is not to say it in a wrong way, but you're a newer seller. You've
Yeah.
only been on eBay for a couple of years and you have these tremendous results, and a lot of people see that and maybe try to emulate it. And that's a lot of pressure on you because if you don't do every single thing that you guys are doing, the results
Mhm.
are not going to be the same. So like for you, like it's a lot of pressure. You can achieve this, you can do this stuff, but you have to do all of the stuff. Like you can't pick and choose.
Mhm.
And like if you try to copy or emulate it, it gets tough.
Yeah. And starting a YouTube channel has really shown me how much of a responsibility I have as a
Absolutely.
YouTuber
Hmm.
to just not tell somebody like, hey, just blindly do what I do and don't understand it. Just do it and you'll get the
Hmm.
same results. And I'm like, that doesn't work. Like,
Hmm.
at least not for me. Maybe it works for somebody like, somebody super talented. I don't know. But I'm like, I have to understand why I do the things that I do and why I don't do the things that I do to be able to do this. Because like how like that's my foundation that I'm being
Right.
built on. And that's, you know, finding you guys at like the beginning of my career with all of this and just hearing what you have done and how successful you've done it. Whenever I heard what you preach, I never thought, oh, I need to be selling 120 uh, Polo Ralph Lauren shirts every single day.
Absolutely.
Like I
Right.
never got that. Like never got that from you. You've never said to just do what you do like that.
Never.
And I understood it takes time and experience and knowledge to even get there if I even want to get there because
Hmm.
that's just a business model that works. It's
Right.
not the only business model that works. Like I could have a super tiny crush in it store or I can have a really big crush in it store.
Hmm.
I could sell literally whatever I want and crush it as long as I know how to sell and like the metrics and
Right.
everything. So as a YouTuber, I just wanted to have like this responsibility to make sure I wasn't leading anybody astray or like feeling like people were being deceived.
Sure.
I wanted to tell them like, hey, that's why I've come out with videos like this is how to sell on eBay. This is exactly how I would do it, because it's how I did it and how I want other people to do it. And it's all about doing your own research on the things that you want to sell and knowing what your capacity is and what your capabilities are in your
Mhm.
area and everything. And then just trying it, like doing it yourself. And I didn't say just pick up these brands and you'll have $1 million. Like I don't want that for my viewers. Like I want them
Sure.
to be able to actually learn how to resell successfully. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and honestly, I've had comments, people asking me as like a really super common question I get is like, how much should I promote my listings for? And
All the
I
time.
I never give them an answer
Same.
because I'm
Never.
like, what works for me may be way too much for you
Yeah.
or not enough for you, or it
Absolutely.
might bankrupt you.
I was like,
Like,
say this same
how
thing.
how
Because
am I
promoted
supposed to do
listings is
it?
tricky. It's like the answer to that is how much can you afford?
Exactly.
And their answer is, I don't know. And if you don't know your numbers, you should not be promoting anything because there are a
Yeah.
lot of people out there that are promoting themselves out of business and they don't even know it,
Yeah.
especially with the dynamic that changes and keeps inching up and keeps inching up. So
Yeah.
if you ask the question, how much should I be promoting my items at? It's an unanswerable question. How much can you afford? And then what is the item? Is the item a 100% sell through item? And the answer might be zero. You don't have to promote anything. Is the item a small pony Ralph Lauren shirt where there's an infinity amount on it? You might have to promote that thing through the moon. So like there's so
Mhm.
many different nuances in the product, in our offer, in our business, in our expectations, because you have different expectations than I do. So
Mhm.
so the way that I operate my business is different from yours. I've had a couple of people they've written me about this is also another common one. What aged inventory markdown strategy should I use?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't know. And then someone the other day wrote me and said, do you think Carrie's aged inventory markdown strategy is a smart idea? I said, it's a smart idea for Carrie.
Yeah.
But for me, I have 10,000 square feet. You might have 1,000 square feet. For
Mhm.
me, I'm okay with holding items for 6 months. Carrie might want to sell everything in 3 months. You might have a studio apartment in New York City and you have one shelf of inventory and you might want a 2 week sell through because you can't store stuff for a long time because it's insanely expensive. You might
Mhm.
live 70 miles from Cary in the middle of nowhere and have a barn that's 20,000 square feet that you pay $100 a month in rent, and you don't care if you sell stuff for 5 years. So
Yeah.
all of these differences in businesses and differences in expectations, these differences in how long I want my money to be out there before it is returned, all of this boils down to the very first thing that we talk about into the group. What are your rules for your business? What do you want the foundations of your business to be? And once we establish the rules, Carrie, you're very good at this. We have to stick to them.
Mhm.
If we don't stick to them, it means nothing. And if you break a rule once, you'll break it twice. So we have to be steadfast on our rules. And when we do not have rules, that's where we ask those type of questions that are unanswerable.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, especially if they're new sellers, they're just
Sure.
trying to like, you kind of feel blind in that world, like starting out
Absolutely.
where it's like,
And
I
it's
don't know what
hard.
I'm
It's
doing.
hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. And neither one of us come on here and say it's easy. We never said
No,
that. We never
no.
say it's easy money. We never say it's get rich quick. It's hard. It's confusing. eBay doesn't do a great job of holding your hand and showing you how to do this. They actually do a horrible job at that. They don't show you how
Yeah.
to list an item. They don't show you how to deal with everything that pops up. They don't show you here's how you fill out item specifics. Here what your item specifics are. They don't show you anything. It is an
Mhm.
extremely confusing. So I get it and I understand, but like a lot of it goes back to we got to start at the basics day one, establish the rules, establish our metrics, establish what kind of aged inventory markdown policy we want to be, because our business model doesn't start at the computer. Our business model starts the moment we make a decision to pick up this item off the rack. That's when our
Yeah.
business model is established. It's not established when we get home on the computer.
Yeah. I mean, I even went through that starting out with my shirts. I really had no expectations for my shirts because I had no idea what they could produce or what they could bring in or anything like it because it was a whole new category for me. But I still knew like what I wanted. Like, I don't want to hold this on for 1,000 years or anything. I want it to sell it quickly. So I'm still picking up quickly selling items. But as far as like the profit margin goes and what I'd be listing it for, how much I want to spend on it, I had to learn pretty quickly because, again, if I didn't have those established, then I would be buying the most random stuff and none of
Mhm.
it would be making sense to me. And I just couldn't be able to like snowball it into the store that I have now. So it's definitely super important to more so learn how to resell
That's
than
right.
just learn how to be successful at reselling. Like, it's way more important to have that establishment, and then you can find all the brands and everything like the high profit stuff later because you actually understand why they're high profit, why they sell, and then
Hmm.
you can have a successful business. But
Hmm.
how to resell is different than what do I need to sell type of thing.
Absolutely, 100%. And
Yeah.
like, if I were to watch your videos, a lot of the stuff you find, I'm not going to find here. If you watch my videos, a lot of the stuff I
Yes.
find, you're not going to find over there. So like, if Carrie's running around all week trying to find the same kind of polo I find, or Tommy Bahama, or she's looking for Tommy Bahama Hawaiian shirts with embroideries on the back, or Vineyard Vines, or athleisure wear, tons of Lululemon. Like, we have that
Mhm.
here, but like, maybe where you live, maybe you might have a little bit of it. And if you try to duplicate or copy the business, it's not going to work for you because you have different types of items where you live. Just
Mhm.
like someone in Freeport, Maine is going to have a lot of LL Bean. Maybe someone in Detroit will have more Carhartt jackets. Maybe someone in Arizona will have more Dixon flannels. All of
Yeah,
this stuff is different. I've never seen a Dixon flannel in my entire
me
life. It
either.
hasn't made it to Florida. So it's like
Yeah.
it's migrating over, but I've never seen it. But in Arizona, they're picking this stuff left and right. Why? Because it's from Arizona. So, a lot of it comes from exactly like you said. We need to learn how to do this and not just try to, oh, this works for someone else, so this is what I'm going to do. Like,
Yeah.
the,
And
what
mhm.
works for someone else, take the best practices of what works for someone else and implement that into your business. So one of the best practices we talk about is listing consistently. Carrie, you have taken that football, you've scored the touchdown, you list consistently, but you list the stuff that you can find that works for your metric in your business. If you list consistently garbage, not going to work.
Yeah. And to me, my garbage may be different than somebody else's garbage. So
I
I
went
like,
sourcing with Rachel this weekend
uh-huh.
from the group, from the Poshmark
Yeah.
call. I was like, Rachel, what do you think about this? She goes, I'm like, damn, I pick this up all the time. But she has like a $50 average sale price.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah.
One person's trash is another person's treasure. And the beautiful part about this, you're a mom, you're about to have another kid, you homeschool. Um, I was a single dad. Um, I listed 250 items a day. The business works for everyone. You just have to figure out how the business works inside of your life and build the business around the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
That's the perfect thing about eBay. And that's what you got to learn how to do.
Yeah. So whenever I first started out, eBay, I was doing it all by myself. Kyle was working the other job,
Mm-hmm.
and I still had two kids at the time. And they were not school age, so they came with me everywhere.
Sure. Sure.
And I did a 10 listing a day business model with the jeans because I couldn't just spend all day out in the field sourcing and finding more items because I had two little kids. I had to be home and just I had all these responsibilities. So it was going to be like with what I was working with and what I was given at the time, it would be so unrealistic for me to assume I can also list 250 a day just
Absolutely.
because. And it's also just my desires. Like, I know your desire to do 250 was like you are going to make a bunch of money, like you're going to blast it essentially. And mine, I'm like, well, I appreciate that, but like that's a lot of work. Like, it is like you have to be committed to that for a long time. And I'm like,
Right.
realistically, I know myself. I could do it. I would hate my life, but I could do it. But for what? Like, what is my reason? Like, if I don't have that, then I'm not going to stick with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to be realistic with myself of, okay, these are my current capabilities. this is my current knowledge base. This is my current time. This is my current money situation. I'm
Mhm.
going to build a business model around all those factors so I can be successful at this instead of trying to emulate what somebody who has a different situation, different capabilities is doing. So, and I was okay with that. Like, you have to be okay with that. I feel like people can have like a lot of high expectations for themselves, but they're just not being like super realistic.
Mhm.
And they can find like a lot of dissatisfaction and start griping a bit about it all. But anyway, yeah. So hold on.
It's really tough because whether people know it or not, like even if you say, you know what, I'm picking up all items that have a 90-day sell through, 100% 90-day sell through. Do people understand what that means? That means you are voluntarily picking up an item, listing it today with no expectation that you're going to get paid from that item for 90 days.
Mhm.
You're going to get paid in 3 months for that item. So, like, none of this is very quick. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. But if you want to shortcut this thing, become an expert in what you want to sell, figure out how to acquire those items, be consistent, learn the eBay platform, read the rules line by line. Because if you want to win the game, you have to know the rules to the game. And a lot
Mhm.
of people don't know the rules to the game. So if you want to win, you need to know the rules. If you want to win the thrift store, you need to be the one that has the most knowledge and gives yourself the most opportunities. So like for me, when I was thrifting 55 stores a week, I went to 3 flea markets a week, 2 flea markets on Saturday and Sunday. I gave myself the most opportunities. And when I wasn't out thrifting, doing my work, after I reset to zero, I would study, study, study. So that way, when I went back out there, I'm already giving myself the most amount of opportunities, and then I'm giving myself the most amount of knowledge. So, on a percent basis, on a ratio basis, I'm going to find the best stuff and the most stuff because I'm giving myself the most amount of touches, the most amount of opportunities. And even now, I only go sourcing on the weekends for educational purposes for YouTube, and
Mhm.
then I wholesale it out. The amount of home run deals that I walk into is because I'm going to multiple flea markets, I'm going to multiple places. I'm armed with the education to see these items where maybe I don't know about them, but I have indicators that can say maybe this item is quality. So this weekend I went to the flea market and I saw some very nice leather shoes. Not a shoe seller. I've sold shoes, know a little bit about them. Picked them up on the bottom. They said handcrafted and produced in limited quality quantities under humane working conditions.
You know it's
All right,
good.
that's going to be worth a lot of money. So
Yeah.
I look at it, Beckett Simeon, fancy name, very, very high quality. I check on the eBay machine real quick. They're all selling for at least $100 with over a 100% sell through. And the guy ended up having 50 pairs.
Mhm.
That right there, I spend $15 each. They're all going to sell for at least 100. So just say it's 5,000. So you turn $750 into $5,000. That is a home run deal with 100+% sell through. But I only got that deal because I put myself in the right situation. I was there very early. That was my second lap of the flea market as people are putting stuff out. And I noticed these check marks that, due to my previous experience and my previous research, that this is something that I need to pay attention to, and I need to check it out. Had I looked at the handcrafted under small quantities and humane working conditions, didn't think a second about it, kept it pushing,
Mhm.
somebody else gets that deal and makes $5,000 in the next 90 days, not me.
Yeah.
But I
And
saw it, it clicked a couple boxes, I searched eBay, did the deal.
the thing about that though is if you were just like the average reseller right now, and not tech, so you were just the average reseller and you were basing all of your business decisions based off of the hundreds of YouTube resellers out there, and you're just seeing what they pick up. I don't know if anyone would have picked those up, like actually have a video of them say, hey, pick this up if you ever see this. Like, it might
I've,
be out there.
I've never seen Beckett Simeon on a BOLO list, never.
Yeah. So I'm like, but so it's like, yeah, you probably would have passed it up because, like, oh, I've never seen somebody pick this up before. I won't pick it up. So that you're just copying what you see, but you're passing over on an opportunity because if you actually were learning this reselling
Mm-hmm.
business, you would
Mm-hmm.
know, you'd pick up on those indicators like you talked about and be like, hey, this is actually showing me a lot of green flags.
The
I'm going to look
whys.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
whys
yeah,
of picking it up.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're
And
spot
mhm.
on. Go ahead.
Exactly. And that's kind of how it is with my jeans. I started out YouTube talking about jeans, and I know I don't know everything in the reselling world, especially on YouTube, because I don't just watch a bunch of YouTube resellers. But I personally, just from my experience and being in the group, was like I felt like jeans used to be dog water. Honestly, obviously not like the True Religions and the Diesels, but like everything else, nobody really talked about jeans and everything being like a super wonderful item to pick up. It was usually shoes and vintage t-shirts.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I don't really like shoes and I don't vintage t-shirts, whatever. So, but I just chose something that I liked. I literally liked the look of denim and jeans and I liked the history of it. So I said, you know what? I'll choose this and I'll go down that rabbit hole with the denim. And
Hmm.
I did it and I found success for it and I started putting it out on YouTube. And I feel like at first people were like, oh, jeans is the new gold. And it was like a gold rush of like, go get a bunch of jeans. And I'm like, oh no, like
Every pair of jeans. It
every
doesn't matter.
pair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I immediately, that's where the responsibility of me being like, oh my gosh, like I am influencing like a larger push in jeans right now. I know from my experience that you have to go through tons of jeans to find the good stuff,
Hmm.
tons of jeans.
Absolutely.
And I was starting to feel really bad, honestly. Like people are just investing their dollars into bad items.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, no, 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 no. So I tried to teach that's how the how to sell on eBay video came. And I was like, I need to start teaching people what I know so that at least I have that responsibility and that burden lifted to be like, okay, if you know exactly how I resell and you want to go sell jeans, you can do this successfully. But I do not want people just blindly going out and buying anything and everything that's denim
Sure.
and saying, I'm going to make $1 million from this. And I'm like,
And then
that
why
is
haven't I made a
dangerous.
million dollars from this, Carrie?
Yes. And at that time, we were heading into summer too. And I have my eBay forecast of it's going to slow down. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, like people are going
Yeah.
to have a rude awakening on this.
Yeah.
So it was honestly very scary going through that. So I backed it off a bit with the jeans because I was like, I just don't want people to be influenced to blindly grab jeans. And so I started talking more about how to like teach how to do it. And then
Hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the BOLO lists. Like I am if they're like, these are like banger item BOLO lists, like no matter what.
And you know us, we don't have a BOLO list in the group. We don't do that.
No.
We don't do that. If we had a BOLO list, the group would explode. We don't have a BOLO list. We don't
Yeah.
do that. It's do your research. This is
Yeah.
how you do your research. This is how you can go out and find the fish and go fishing yourself.
Yes.
And that's the best way to do it. So like people want the BOLO list, but once the BOLO list is the BOLO list, it's no longer the BOLO list. Once a lot
Yeah.
of people are looking for these items, it's classic supply and demand. It's going to get more and the price is going to go down. And it's no longer a list, but tried and true, doing your research and knowing why you're picking up items, that is the ultimate way to find success. And like when I am picking up items like a vintage shirt, I'll explain on the video the indicators or the green lights that you said. Single stitch. These are all the tags. I don't know how many times I've said, go on the Google machine and search all the tags. Someone else has already done the work. Look at all the tags, see when it's from. Look at these indicators. Maybe it'll have a date. Maybe it'll be 50-50 cotton polyester blend. Or for the shoes, these are the check boxes that I looked up. And I think that, at least for me, that is a responsible way of doing it, of showing them what indicators to look for, not just pick this up just because with no explanation. Because
Yeah.
pick this up with no explanation, that's tough for me.
Yeah. I kind of did that a little bit in my last video because we came across a pile of dead stock Levi's and I was on our way there knowing the indicators. Just it was on a Facebook marketplace deal,
Mm-hmm.
so we only had a couple pictures to go based off
Yeah.
of. And with these types of deals you have to, especially on Facebook, you got to go if it's really good, and this was good. It was $10 for new with tag dead stock vintage Levi's. So I'm like, okay, on the way there I was looking to see what the sizes were, what the style was, where it was made, the
Yep.
color, the
Yep.
wash, everything about that, just so I could see, okay, I know we'll make money on it, but how much money now? And just doing all that, because if any indicator was like, oh, this is a weird style that nobody really wants or nobody's really shopping for, it doesn't matter if it's new
That's
because
right.
the demand's not there.
That's right.
But these
That's right.
are in demand. So I knew like this is gold right now. We're gonna go and do that. But I taught a little bit about like the indicators to look for whenever it comes to Levi's. And I know Levi's in its own world, they do weird
Tough.
stuff. And
Tough. Yeah.
yeah. So
170-year-old company. They've done everything.
yeah. And it's great. Like there are a lot of good Levi's out there, but there are also a lot of
A
not so
lot of
great
bad ones.
Levi's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just taking the time. Like I can't personally just sit here and just spout off every single little thing that could
100,
possibly
it's
ever.
impossible. You will never turn off the record button if you try to spout off every single piece of information about Levi's. They're a 170-year-old
Yes.
company. It's impossible. But
So yeah.
that's a good point because like, all right, we see brand new tags Levi's on Facebook Marketplace. Not all brand new tags Levi's are worth picking up.
Yeah.
Not all brand new tags dead stock vintage Levi's are worth picking up. It has to
Mhm.
be a desirable model, a desirable size, maybe even a desirable inseam. Because if you got a short inseam, like maybe no one's
Yeah.
gonna buy it. So like all of these things have to add up. And like now you're getting into checking the back of the rivets. You're getting into checking the tags for the dates, and this is all stuff we have to know why. Why are we picking them up? Carrie, why did you run out of the door and immediately jump in the car for this Facebook Marketplace deal? Like there's indicators that we're looking at to be like,
Mhm.
all right, Kyle, get in the car. Let's go. We got to go get this stuff. Versus this is a pass for us. No, thank you.
Yeah. I know. So it's just that responsibility of the person learning. And I'm all for education. That's why like I promote your group. It's where I started. I'm like, but finding somebody who is more so about teaching you how to fish versus
Mm-hmm.
just showing like giving you fish essentially.
Yep.
Like I want to learn from that person. And
Absolutely.
obviously their
Absolutely.
track record. So, but if somebody's teaching you how to fish, chances are they are successful at what they do.
Absolutely.
So I that's honestly the jeans thing kind of scared me a bit, because I was new on like the YouTube and I was just kind of like blowing up. And I think people were just looking for the next thing to, jump on and everything. And like I totally get it. I totally get the
Yeah,
hype and
absolutely.
everything. But I just wanted the message that it's like you could literally sell anything and make a lot of money.
That's right.
And that's the message I want to preach, not so much you can be successful selling jeans. And that is what motivated me to start documenting the shirts because I wanted to like deviate the attention away from jeans so much and just be like, oh, and now look, I'm building a store with shirts. And then, and it's starting to grow and be successful and I'm starting to make money. It's because I'm applying the same principles
That's
over
right.
here. And I just wanted to show people like it's not the item, it's you
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just my responsibility as a YouTube reseller now.
Sure.
And I don't want to really categorize myself as like a teacher, just because I'd rather just be when on YouTube, I'd rather just be like somebody who teaches a little, but also is just like more relatable and fun. Like I don't want to just be the teacher or anything because as you said earlier, I'm still a new seller. And even though I have good success, I still don't feel like I am 100% capable of officially teaching people the official stuff and everything. I'm just like, this is what's working for me,
Sure.
and this is the reason why. And I encourage you to try it out yourself. And that's it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just basically a guide, I guess, like,
Yeah.
and you're the teacher
Well,
because you've been
but
doing it.
even for me, like when all of you guys you ask questions in the group, I don't answer the questions. I ask you guys questions back so that way you guys can figure it out and you guys can learn how to fish and you guys could do it. I'll ask a series of 4 or 5 or 6 questions that leads to that aha moment and go, oh yeah, that's right. This is what I have to do in these types of situations. Because even for me, like if I just tell people, it's in one ear and out the other, and it doesn't matter. So like the approach that I've always taken is kind of like an actionable approach where if Carrie asks a question, I'll ask Carrie a question back. Carrie will say something and I'll ask her another question. And it leads her to get to where she needs to go, where next time she asks that question, she follows the same model and go, okay, this is what I had to do. This is what I had to do. This is what I had to do. And that's the kind of stuff that we have to figure out. We have to be, very proactive with our thinking, very actionable with our thinking. Otherwise, because there's no blueprint to doing this. Like there's no, if you do these 10 steps or like my recommended 10 steps, there's none of that because everything works. We just have to figure out how to make it work with our life and with the business that we want to build. So for Carrie, she has found a lot of success with jeans. I never sold a tremendous amount of jeans and I did just fine. I did fine. Did I list jeans? Yeah. Did I like getting them? No, I don't like jeans because they require more measurements and they have to fit in more places. Thus, they are going to get returned more often rather than a shirt that just has to fit here and here. Pants have to fit the waist, the inseam, the rise, the calf opening, the thigh opening, all of that kind of stuff. I got to take all these extra measurements. I'd rather list 2 shirts. So I found success without chasing down the jeans, where Carrie has found success chasing down the jeans, having that barrier to entry of taking the measurements and finding the good ones that are going to work in particular styles and type inside of particular brands. And she was able to do it. So like, there's not a one size fits all. This is going to lead you to the reseller promised land, but it starts with the rules to your businesses, your core principles, your foundations, and then sticking to those. And it doesn't matter what you sell. You can sell car parts. Hanley's doing a fantastic job. You can sell shoes. There's a lot of shoe sellers doing a fantastic job. It doesn't matter what the widget is. If you want to copy something, copy the foundations and core principles that people are doing, and then institute those into your business. Other than that, everything else you have to figure out, and you got to go out and do your own.
Yeah. And not only is it what items are in your area and how much money are you working with, like all that, but it's also, it boils down to like your work ethic, because I feel like a lot of people are just wanting to make easy money quickly. And it's like, it doesn't work like that unless you are like, like there's some of those like money grab things where it's like, you got to be the first one in and then it like gets flooded and whatever. But like, in the reselling world, it's not. A lot of people are reselling now, and more people are reselling. So you have to just find your lane. You have to know how much work you want to do, because it's another thing, like another message that I've been preaching on my YouTube channel is when you're first starting out, like I didn't do this and I wish I would have done it differently. I wanted to have people set their bar really high for their profit margin and like find the really good stuff because work your way down. I started because I was just copying in the beginning. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to find like a lot of the little stuff and start listing it that way. And I'm learning it is so hard to go uphill to increase that profit margin.
That's right.
And it's been like a couple years battle to double our profit margin. And I'm like, this is hard work. So I'm like, guys, if you're going to start out from the top and then work your way down, because that will be so much easier.
And I talk about that a lot because I say it's hard to scale yourself to profitability.
Yeah.
I talk about that a lot because if you're dealing, this is a model that does not work for anybody. Low margin, low volume doesn't work for anybody. No. So like if you're going to do low margin and you want to get the lowest hanging fruit, small profit items, you better be listing a tremendous amount of items in order for that business model to work. Can that business model work? Yes. But you better love sourcing, you better love listing, you better love packing, you better love all of that stuff. Can it work? Absolutely. But low margin, low volume doesn't work because we can't be out here making $12 for the day total and sold 4 items. That doesn't. But
I know.
But like you said, if you get the and this is why scaling to profitability doesn't work. You're going to do 30 a day, high volume, $10 profit. Great. You're probably going to sell 12. Okay, great. We got 120. $120. I want to do more. Well, I can't keep going to the flea market. I can't keep going to the thrift. I can't keep listing and packing and working like a dog. Now I need to hire help. So I'm going to hire help and they're going to cost me $100 a day. Now I got $20 to my name. Okay, great. But now we're going to list 60 a day. And then we're going to get to the point where we can sell 30 a day or 25 a day. Great. But then you start selling 30 and 25 a day. And then you go, okay, now we need more help. So you get more help and now you're all the way back to zero. And pretty much you look around and your employees are making more money than you. You're working for your employees. So this scaling to profitability does not work. And in my opinion, when we are afforded such humongous, monstrous profit margins and returns as resellers, why would we pick that model? Pick the model where we gain an education and we can find items where we can make $20. We can find items where we can make $30. We can find items where we can make $40. We don't have to play in that bottom low hanging fruit of low margin, low volume. That doesn't work. But what a world that you could live in where you can find 14 items a day, $20 profit, and you can make $100,000 a year. That is a manageable life. That is a happy life. No employees, no overhead.
You're not
no
spending all day listing nothing. Or shipping.
Done by 12 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah, I know.
And just do that. But to do that, we have to be over here and we have to be over here and we have to become an expert to put enough reps at the thrift, at the bins, at garage sales, at flea markets, shaking enough hands in order to get access to these 20 items. And like Hanley says in the conversations, we have to choose what's hard for us. Do you want a hard sourcing life? Then you're going to be looking for those higher profit items. Do you want a hard listing and process life? Then you're going to be looking for those low profit items. For me, I want to put boots on the ground and I want a hard sourcing life and an easier listing life. And as you put yourself out there, you start making connections, you start getting smarter, you start acquiring more knowledge, new things start opening up to you, and those profitable items start arriving to you inside of like your reseller aura, whether it's the thrift gods that are giving you props for doing all the work that you're doing, but the items are out there. We're just blind to them. And the worst thing that we can all do as resellers is pass by the profitable inventory because we don't know what it is.
Yeah, I encourage just taking time and absorbing as much knowledge as you can. If you're the type of person that has to look at every single item on the rack to understand if it's good or not, good for you, because you're not just listening to what other people are saying and just copying it. Like, you are learning it yourself, and it's way more beneficial that way. And what you were talking about with like the choose your hard, for us, having a third baby coming along, and as a homeschooler, this is my second year homeschooling now, but I had to be realistic with what our family unit is heading into seasonally. And I'm like, okay, do I want to spend more time at the computer listing or less time at the computer listing, or really the same amount of time right now? And Kyle and I talked about it. He's okay going out and hitting the road all day long to find better items so that I don't have to spend all day at the computer and I can do other things with the kids. And like, that's the life that we want.
Sure.
For now, it may change whenever the kids are teenagers and I'm like, I have nothing to do. I can spend 5 hours listing at the computer all day. But right now, I don't want to do that. So, and obviously we still have to crush it financially. So we just chose our hard for it. And that's why we're continuing the uphill battle of increasing our profit margin. That way we can not have to list as many items, but still make way more money than we are now. So that's just the message that I preach. I know currently, since I took a little bit of a break from YouTube and I'm back now and I'm seeing the murmurings. It seems like Whatnot is like the next thing that a lot of people are shifting towards right now, like a lot of resellers. I don't know if it's just like another thing that people are chasing, thinking like, oh, we can make a lot of money this way. But I know from that business model that most people are going to find that it's even lower profit margins and they have to do a lot more work that way. And so I'm like, I'm just nervous for people, honestly, for people who were in my shoes 2 years ago starting out. If I saw a bunch of eBay, YouTube resellers saying like, oh, we're all moving to whatnot now. And I'd be like, oh, I must do that because everybody else is doing it. And I don't know why. Then I'm going to be there all day long, going through like 200 items, making $1 off of each one. And that's my day. And I'm like, I want to be able to still preach the message that you don't have to do that. You can do what works for you. And eBay, you'll find more profitable sales and do your research on that. And you can not spend all day listing and selling on whatnot. And that's fine. Like you can make a killing on whatnot for sure. Like again, like it's a different business model. It's the low profit, high volume, or you can do the high volume or high profit, low volume. It just depends on what you're doing. But I just see a lot of people heading towards whatnot right now. And I'm a little concerned for them. And I'm hoping maybe the message of do what works for you and not just what other people are doing can get to them, hopefully.
Absolutely. And if people are saying to do one thing, you really have to look into it and see if they are even finding success. And the big number doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. I don't care if you have a $50 ASP and you spend $42 to acquire your items. It means
Yeah.
nothing. Like a $50 ASP, great. If you're getting your stuff for $1, all right, let's talk about that. But if you're getting your
Yeah.
stuff for $42 and you're paying 50 and your selling costs are 50%, congratulations. You're losing $12 per item. You're doing
Uh-huh.
a tremendous job,
Yeah.
but it looks great on social media. Looks great on social
Mhm.
media, a humongous daily sales or a humongous ASP, but we don't know the cost of goods. And unless it's fully transparent, and I've been transparent, my average cost of goods when I was on eBay was $4. My average sales price was $27.44, and I sold 250 items a year, or 250 items a day, 100,000 items a year. That's what I did.
Mhm.
Back it up. I had 5 employees that I used to pay $20 an hour. I spent just a hair under $100,000 for my warehouse. Like, that's what it is. It's crystal clear. Those are the numbers. And the numbers have never changed. That's what they've always been. And I also never come on here and say, you can make $1 bajillion by doing this. No. Can you make a great living and can you change your life? And can you, maybe supplement your income? Can you retire your spouse? Can you supplement maybe Social Security? Can you go full time? Absolutely. But the people that have found the most amount of success doing this is the people that find something that works and they wake up tomorrow and they do the same damn thing again tomorrow.
Mhm.
Not the people that find something that works and then do something else totally different tomorrow. Those
Yeah.
people do not ever find success. Or the people that never find something that works, they don't give it enough time, they don't figure it out enough, they don't gain enough information, and then they forfeit it and then do something totally different. Those people do not find success either. It's the people that take the time to acquire the knowledge and figure out something that works for them, and they wake up tomorrow and they do the same thing tomorrow. Those are the people that find success doing this. If you're jumping around to a lot of different business models, you will not find success. I've been doing the same thing for almost 20 years. That's why I found success. I didn't wake up and do something totally different tomorrow. That's why it's so easy for me to come on here and have thousands of hours of recorded content answering questions and have the same answer for every single question. Because
Yeah.
I've done the same thing every single time, every single day of my life for over 15 years. I have not jumped around, not a new business model, not a new widget, not a new platform, not a new this, not a new that, never.
Yeah.
Find something that works, wake up tomorrow and do the same damn thing tomorrow. That's it.
And it's hard to be like kind of squirrely like that, like chasing this thing and not that, and doing this and not doing that and everything. That is hard to manage. That is not a life that I would want. But I honestly, I feel like I've also been seeing a lot of people talking about how, reselling is not like how it used to be. It's way harder. I'm not making as much money and all that. And I don't ever say that. Well, I'm still new. Okay. I wasn't here like 10 years ago, but I've been here for a handful of years. And every single year I'm doing it, I feel like, oh, this is just getting easier and easier because I'm getting more knowledge. And it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to just turn a profit and find this and sell it and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I'm like, I'm just trying to understand like where that mentality is coming from. And it may be from people who don't know what they're really doing. And so it just seems harder. Like they're not making as much money as they used to because they've chased this thing, like this gold mine, and now it's all gone. And now they're chasing this thing and it's all gone versus just growing naturally and what they know. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
that's just what I've been seeing a lot as well. And that's what I want to encourage people who are starting out to understand. Like, you can hear people say, like, oh, it's not the same as it used to be. It's so much harder. And you can get discouraged by that
Mm-hmm.
because you have no frame of reference. But if
Mm-hmm.
you find your success and you just snowball it and do the same thing every single day, you'll find your success and you won't believe, oh, this is so much harder and this is not
Right.
turning out. Like, you'll say, oh, this is getting easier and easier. Like,
Easier and
this is
easier.
great.
For
Because,
sure.
like, I was telling Kyle, I'm like, how is it? Like, people are saying, like, they're not making as much money as they used to, and that reselling isn't the same anymore. But I'm like, in what world do you make, like I said, in a normal world, in the normal world, not the reselling world, my 5% interest rate bank account is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The If the stock market had a 12% return rate, that's ridiculous.
That's record breaking.
Yeah. But I'm like, but then you look at people on eBay and they're like, oh, I only had a 50% return. I only
Yeah.
had a 70% return or
Yeah.
whatever, like growth. How, and they say it's bad. I'm like, how
Yeah.
in what world is that bad still?
It's
Like,
crazy.
it's just insane to me. I'm like, you're still turning $1 into $3, into $5, like it in a year, in less than a
Mm-hmm.
year. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's insane. It's just multiplying your dollars is the name of the game with the metrics that you have set up for yourself. So yeah, it's just crazy.
The whole like reselling is ending. Look, reselling has been around since before the Bible. Like it ain't
Yeah.
going nowhere. Is it like because before the Bible they were reselling in bazaars, like guys were trading
With
cows
their
and selling them
sheeps and
yeah. So like
yeah.
reselling has been around since before the Bible. Like it's one of the oldest professions. It's not going to go anywhere. But like the people who say like reselling is dying, like I see people at the flea market, they go reselling's dying. I say why?
Mhm.
Like there's no answer. So like,
Yeah.
why is it like what are the answer? What are the reasons why it's dying? Because it's getting harder. Okay, great. I'll give you that. But if you don't get better, that's on you. So
Yeah.
if you get better every single year, you can look around to a lot of people in the group. We're getting better.
Mhm.
And there ain't a lot of people struggling over there. Year over year, we're up, 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 up because we're getting better. If you're not getting better and things is getting harder, then you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You as a
And
reseller will die.
in what industry, anywhere,
Can you
can
do the
you do the
same or
same?
regress and find
Yes.
success? Never,
Never. Like,
never.
you have to keep growing and you have to keep,
Sure.
like, competition is great because then you're like, oh wow, it's like they're doing this and they're starting to
Right.
take my money. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to think, like, how do I strategize this
Got to get
to
better.
make more money and
That's right.
everything? If it's just you and like it's the unrealistic expectation of I just want to wake up and have easy money, not hardly do anything, and nobody knows this. I'm the only one. Like, that's
That's right.
not ever going to exist.
Never.
So it's like, that's, yeah, again.
Someone told me a long time ago, easy money ain't good and good money ain't easy.
Yes, that's
So
so
easy
correct.
money, you ain't never gonna get no easy money. And if you want good money, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And for reselling, like you said, the margins that are afforded to us, this is the easiest way to get 400% on our money in 90 days. And we
Yeah.
have to take advantage of this. And are the thrift store prices going up? Yeah, go somewhere else. Are the thrift store prices going up? Yeah, but we see it all the time. They don't know what VRE is yet. Get as much of that as you can.
Yeah.
They miss these Lululemon commuter pants because the tag was ripped out. We have to know this. Or they showed this brand that they have no idea what it is. You do a quick search because you're seeing indicators and it sells for 50. They're charging $5.99. If you're skipping on that stuff because you don't know, that's your fault. You're worse than the thrift because the thrift didn't know, you don't know. It's your
Yeah.
job to walk into the thrift and know more than them. If the thrift store knows more than you, shame on you.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going out of business. We
Yeah.
cannot let the thrift store know more than us. And if we're getting priced out at the thrift, go to the flea market. My average cost, people can watch all of my videos. I rarely spend $10 or more on an item.
Yeah.
Everything is under $5. If you're getting priced out, wake up early, go to the flea market. If you don't have a flea market, drive to a flea market. Every single person listening to this lives a half day away from a major city. Get in the
Mhm.
car, go find stuff. And I can say this because I'm doing this on the videos. I'm going 5 hours. I'm making it happen. I'm coming home. Go 5 hours, get into a little Motel 6 for $57 a night, write it off as a business expense, write off your meal as a business expense, drive home with a week's worth of inventory. Adam in the group said he drives 8 hours once a month and finds half the stock that he needs for the year, for the month.
I would honestly, I would love that. Like,
Take that deal, right?
yeah, that'd be amazing.
But driving 8 hours, no, thank you. We just want to walk out the door and have it be presented
Well,
to us.
yeah,
That
but
don't work.
yeah, to
Does
know
not
that
work.
opportunity out there, it's like, yeah, like I'm all for that. Let's do it. But you gotta go try and see if it's out there,
Got to do it.
first of all.
Got to do
Like
it.
I treat our bins kind of like the flea market because it's cheap inventory and it cycles out 2 times a day and it's open every single day. So that's how I treat it. It's I've honestly we have seen price increases with the thrift stores, but that's like the beauty of a free market is,
That's right.
oh, this is too high. I'm not going to spend here. And what is Goodwill going to do with it? Ours does markdown sales. So
Mhm.
it'll eventually either hit the 75% off sale and I'll get it then, or
Or
it's
to go
going
to
to
the
the
bins.
bins.
That's it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not worried about it. It's like, okay, well, just I'll either learn the better brands and we've
Mhm.
changed our metrics for the thrift stores. So if we're spending on average $10 on a item from the thrift store, we're like, okay, if we're going to do that, then we want to at least make $20 profit on this item. But before, whenever it was cheaper, we were okay picking up some items that we'd only make like $15 profit or $10 profit because we were investing more money into it and everything. So
Mhm.
but now that it's changed, it's just we changed our metrics to fit the thrift stores more. And we hit the 75% off sales just to see what's left. And there are a lot more items that are left now, versus before. It used to be like scraps for the 75% off now. It's a lot more. Or it's ending up at the bins. And funny enough, whenever I was at the bins one day, I saw in the back probably about 12 different managers all just watching us, which was kind of strange. I was like, why are they here? Why are they just watching us? Like
Uh-oh.
it was weirding me out. So
Yeah.
I have a good relationship with the bins workers. So I was just talking to them. I'm like, what is that about? And they
Yeah.
said, oh yeah, district wanted all the regional, like the managers from all the stores to come and see where all the inventory they're not selling is going.
That's right.
And I think they were trying to teach them, like, hey, you're pricing too much. You're
Yep.
not making money for your store. It's going to the bins, and all these people are getting it for pennies on the dollar.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, hopefully that's a push in the right direction where it's like, oh, well, let's not maybe price things as much as we were
Right.
doing, but who knows? I can't bank on that. All I can bank on right now is what's happening right now. We're going to the bins and we're picking this stuff up. We're going to be in the thrift stores more, and hopefully we'll see that the price going down. And from this week, honestly, with our new routes that we've been doing, Kyle was able to hit primarily just retail stores. And whenever we went to the retail stores before, the average ASP or the average COG was $8. And this past week so far, it's been 6. So we've
Nice.
already noticed a little bit decrease in the COGs. So, and the items are still really good. It's like the
Nice.
profit's higher and everything. So it'll be interesting to see how like the next 6 months to a year goes with the Goodwills in our region at least. I can't speak for all of them and everything.
It fluctuates, it goes up and down. But like you said, it's a free market. If they're not selling enough stuff, they'll bring the price down. If people
Mhm.
are still buying it, they'll raise the price. And that is the beauty of business. That's the beauty of the United States of America. That's how things work. And if you're getting priced out where you are, you have to go somewhere else. And on your route, you guys are going somewhere else. You guys aren't just going around the corner to the thrift store across the street or to the first Play-Doh closet close to your house. You guys are hitting the road. You guys are going out there. And that's what I've always done. I have probably put some of the most miles out of any resellers anywhere trying to go out finding stuff. And that is what it takes. My district is one of the hardest districts in the entire United States of America to shop. We were the first one to do the blue boxes. We were the first. We don't have any sales, no rewards programs, no loyalty, no VIP, nothing. We've never had
Hmm.
that. We were the first ones to have our own eBay version of Goodwill. Um, we were the first ones to do boutiques. This all came from my district. So like if y'all mad at Goodwill, that's my district who's
Uh-huh.
instituting all of these things. Like
Yeah.
they're the ones with the bright ideas. So if I was able to make it happen, primarily sourcing through Goodwills, even with everything that they have going on,
Hmm.
it's possible because we have all of these programs. I've never got a discount. I've never seen a video game in any thrift store I've ever been to in my entire life in my district. That stuff
Yeah.
goes straight to online. So like it's tough. So what do I have to do? I got to go to maybe different chains. I have to go to other districts. I got to go to the flea market and wake up early and brave the sun. You think I want to do that? No, it sucks. But you go out there, that's where you can find the home runs. That's where you can make the relationships. And you guys are doing it as well. You guys are, hitting the street, hitting the route, going out there. Like you said, you've already brought your cost of goods down 20%. And 20%, if you do 100,000, that's an extra $20,000 in your pocket this year just for thinking outside the box and not settling for what you have here and going where you got to go. So I'm excited for the next 6 months, seeing what happens with the business and what happens and evolves in your life with everything that's going on. And
Hmm.
maybe we can chat in 6 months if you got the time. You might have to be holding a baby like this during the conversation, but
Yeah.
I'm happy and excited to see what you guys are doing. And you know how highly I think of you and Kyle, and you guys are doing a tremendous job. And I always appreciate you coming on here and talking. And I like to talk to moms on here because it's a great story to tell. I have the utmost respect for my mom. She raised me. She worked two jobs. She worked from 2 to 10, and then she worked from 11 to 7. The only time I saw her was between 7 and 8, and when she brought us to school. So she was
Yeah.
getting after it. I know there's a lot of moms getting after it, a lot of moms that listen to this. So I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy you guys telling your story, and I have a ton of respect for you and everything that you do and you've done. So I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast. And I think that the message that we talked about today is a very important message. And um, the words that I'll leave is that we need to know why we're doing stuff. We need to know how stuff works. We need to know the rules of the game if we are going to play the game. If we don't know the rules, then we are playing the game at such a severe disadvantage that the people that do know the rules are going to mop the floor with us. So we have to know the rules. We have to put ourselves in that position. We have to gain an expertise. We can't just do this. Once upon a time, you can list an item up on eBay however you wanted to, and it would sell. You can't
Yeah.
do that anymore. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know who your customer is. You have to know your keywords. You have to have an expertise. And if you do not, it's frightening. It's scary, but that's okay. One bite at a time, one step at a time. Doesn't happen overnight, but it does take effort to gain an expertise. And once you gain an expertise, you'll be so thankful that you did, and there'll be no looking back. And as you said, it actually gets easier. The more you learn, the more people you meet, the more places you figure out you have to go, the easier all this gets. So thank you again, Carrie. As you know, I appreciate you so much, and I am very happy for your success. Your success is very important to me. So if you have any parting words for these fine folks, go ahead, let them know where they can find you. And thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. I'm on YouTube. It's Carrie at Home, and I am just a mom over there reselling on eBay with her husband and her kids. So it's totally a realistic expectation, I would say. Like I try to make things as realistic as they can be without obviously sharing the horrible details too much. But it's a good time over there. But yeah, I just encourage you to just fully understand why you do the things you do. And if you have to start out really small, but you're really good at it, you're doing a great job. So
Absolutely.
I'd much rather have that. And yeah. But
Than a
anyway,
really
thanks.
big mess. Be small and good than big and messy.
Yes, for sure. It's a lot. You have cheaper lessons that way. But anyway, thanks for having me.
Always. Thank you, Carrie. As always, be great. Thank you.